Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the DCL Duo Podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel. And Sam, do your jingle.
Simply the best, better than all the rest.
There you go. The new and improved review jingle. This week's review comes from Disney Judy, who writes, "Great podcast. We have been going to WDW since 1972, our honeymoon, but took our first cruise this past January 2024, an 8-day Eastern Caribbean cruise on the Fantasy. Not sure why we waited so long. It was fantastic. I used a scooter and the cast members were so amazing and helpful. We booked our second cruise for December 2024 on the Dream, a very maritime Christmas cruise. Wish I had found your podcast earlier, but so glad I did. I love your descriptions of cruises. Your guests are so interesting and give so much good information about the different cruises. Thank you for providing such a positive, upbeat podcast." Well, there you go.
Oh, I love that. Awesome. Well, we're so happy you had such a good cruise, Judy, and that you're now hooked because, I feel like that's what just happens to people. For others out there, if you are someone who uses a scooter on board and want to talk to us about accessibility, come on board and, reach out. So, Judy, if you want to talk about accessibility, we'd love to talk more about it. That's one of our favorite topics, I think, to cover. We love, of course, covering first-time cruisers. We love covering cruising with any kinds of disabilities. We have a special place in our heart for cruising with kids with autism, since that is we experience. But we love covering all that kind of stuff. So,
if you would like your review read at the top of one of our main episodes, like Disney Judy, just remember, one of the easiest ways to help support the show, head over to Apple Podcasts, hit those 5 stars. If you leave us a written review, we will read it on the air. All right,
absolutely.
Sam, you want to introduce our fabulous guest for this evening? Speaking of fabulous guests.
Speaking of first-time cruiser episodes, I'm super excited. I always love first-time cruiser episodes. We actually, technically speaking, only one of you is a first-time cruiser. We have a couple joining us today, and only one is a first-time cruiser, but they're both first-time cruisers on Disney. So welcome to the show, Sarah and John.
Hello.
So nice to have you guys. Now, Sarah, you had been on a cruise before, but you mentioned it was many years ago. Tell us when you went on this cruise and which line was it on?
Well, that was back in my 20s, and that was on a Carnival cruise with my mom, my sister, and my aunt. So a long time ago.
And tell us what your Disney background is. I know, Sarah, you are a travel advisor, so I'm imagining you probably book Disney vacations, but where did your love of Disney come from? And is that love of Disney for both of you, or is it just Sarah? Is it just John? Both? Where does that come from?
It's both. We went on our honeymoon to Disney World. And then we've just never looked back. We have, so we have 4 kids. And so we've been going, nonstop since every stage of their childhood, we've been going to Disney. So we've only been to Disney. We usually go to Disney World, but we've only been to Disneyland once.
And are you guys yearly Disney visitors and DVC members and all that good stuff?
DVC members, and we usually go at least once a year, sometimes twice.
Yeah. So you're hardcore Disney people, I would say that. Now, I understand John had a lot of reluctance to try a cruise in general, not just a Disney cruise. John, tell us where that came from. Are you someone who gets motion sick? What was the reluctance to cruise? Where did that sort of spring from?
Well, I didn't travel much as a child, so I didn't really have any dealings with large ships or anything like that. And until you're actually on one, you don't really have a grasp for how big they are and how much there is to do. So I was just apprehensive because I felt like I'd get bored.
Oh, really? Oh my. Okay. So I'm going to guess of the two of you, Sarah, you're the podcast listener and John, not so much, because I feel like if you listen to obviously our show, but other shows about all kinds of Disney vacations, right? Cruising, there's a ton to do on board, but
relatively speaking to a parks trip, it's a
Well,
little
it's
less
different.
It's less
Yeah,
to do.
it's different. It's less to do. You have less freedom, right? You can't, you are confined to a ship, of course, as opposed to a park, which is much bigger. But there is obviously a lot to do on board a ship. So how did Sarah convince you? Because I'm imagining that, Sarah wanted to go on a Disney cruise, wanted to go for the first time, and maybe had to convince you. Did you have to convince the rest of the family, Sarah?
No, just
No. Okay. Just John. Okay. So how did she convince you to try this out?
Basically, because it was her 50th birthday and she's recovering from cancer.
Well, that's a pretty good reason, a pretty good way to convince somebody. I mean, it's, certainly unfortunate that that's what it took, Sarah. 2 thumbs up.
I do what I got to do,
If she hadn't turned 50 or gotten cancer, we would not have went.
Oh my God.
And I think just referencing he kind of said it best because so many people were telling him there's so much to do, you're not going to get bored, there's so much to do, and he kind of said I know there's a lot to do, I just don't know if I'll prefer what we're doing on the ship to what I enjoy in the parks, if that makes sense, because he's a parks guy hardcore, and so my daughter and I were really excited about the cruise, but he was just kind of, I think that's where a little bit of his apprehension lied, of just making sure it was going to be fun. So,
yeah. Well, and it is a very different vacation than a parks vacation. I mean, in my mind, it's the superior vacation, even though I love a Disney parks trip, in particular Disneyland. Obviously, I'm very, very partial to Disneyland. But like I said, I think it's a superior vacation because there is, at least for me, it kind of forces me to slow down and relax a little bit versus at the parks. I'm kind of go, 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 go. I want to, I have a lot of...
I feel like that happened for us at all. There was no... slowing down.
Yeah, no slowing down. Well, let's kind of jump into that. Let's start with the planning process. Now, you guys were first time on DCL, so what cruise itinerary did you choose, and why did you choose that particular itinerary, and which ship and whatnot?
So I think just listening to your show, and I know you guys recommend first time cruisers kind of go with that 3-day itinerary just to make yourself comfortable. You're not really sure what to expect. And so we went on the Disney Wish to the Nassau and Castaway Cay itinerary is what we chose, just because we were just trying to make sure that was a comfort level for, our party. So yeah.
Yes. Well, and now I understand John's comment that it was go, 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 because on the Wish, on a 3-night cruise, you are really, if you want to see a lot of stuff, and there is a lot to do, but not a lot of time to do it on a 3-night cruise. And I think if somebody knows for sure they're going to love cruising, I say just go whole hog and go 7 nights. But if you are apprehensive, I think starting with a shorter cruise, of course they're less expensive because it's less nights on board. So a 3-night, a 4-night, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do a 2-night. I know they do some occasionally a weird repositioning 2-night or something. I would never do that because I don't even think that's enough to get a taste of what a cruise is like. But I totally, it is a lot of go, go, go if you're only on a 3-night. Well, let's talk about, were there things you wanted to book in advance of the cruise, or were you like, we're just going to do whatever's available on board, and kind of, because there, as you know from listening to our show, Sarah, there is so much to do that you don't need to book anything ahead of time.
I think the recommendation, like I was explaining to John, was the Nassau port. A lot of people are just stay on the ship. There's so much to do. Don't get off, But I think with it being our first time there, we wanted to at least get off and explore a little bit and let our daughter kind of experience that as well. And so we did book it was the Blue Lagoon package through Disney. And so that's the excursion that we chose for that day. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you book anything in advance at Castaway, or just decide Castaway you're going to do beach there? What did you book, if anything?
We did the getaway package that had the bicycles, the floats, and the snorkeling.
That's a great one because if you know you're going to use it, you're going to save money booking it in advance. I don't think it's a necessary, but if you are somebody who wants to do those things, then it is a good idea to book in advance because you, as I said, you do save a little bit of money. All right. Well, so you're booking some excursions in advance. I'm imagining you're probably not booking adult dining because it's such a short cruise, and maybe not even trying to book drink tastings or anything like that. Am I right?
Yeah. So our daughter is 15 and she was supposed to take a friend, but when she couldn't go, it was kind of like just a family, we decided let's just experience everything together. And I think we had
that's accurate.
She ditched you, I bet.
I tried to push her to go to the teen club and she said no.
No way.
So we were kind of stuck with each other.
That's funny.
More accurate.
Yeah, she wanted to just stay with us, which was fine. We had a great time as a family, but I think that kind of led us just to, and like, I think your recommendation is to like experience everything. So like we just did the rotational dining. We really just tried to, go all in on everything and just kind of see this cruise experience for us. But I can definitely see where you could make it your own. So if you wanted to do adult dining and the spa, and like you could really tailor it to be the type of vacation you want. But we were coming back from excursions, taking turns with the shower, going to the shows, and then going to dinner, and then watching the fire. I mean, and then not to mention we had bookended the trip with like an epic day and a day at Universal, and then when we came back, we had 2 days at Disney. So, and we just got home this morning, so we're pretty tired.
Oh my gosh, you guys just got home this morning as we're recording. That's crazy. Well, let's back up to where you stayed and talk a little bit about embarkation day. John, why don't you start us? How far in advance did you get into town or I assume the Orlando area because you said you went to Universal and Epic. Where were you staying in the Orlando area and for how long?
Well, like Sarah said, we did a stint at Universal, so we did 2 days there. And then our third day, we moved to the Wilderness Lodge and stayed there. That way we could just use the Disney Cruise Line shuttle to take us directly there. And that seemed like the best way to do it. And then, like she said, we were bookending it with Disney on the last 2 days. So we just took the cruise line back and stayed at the Grand Floridian for a night.
Fantastic. It's always it's always a seamless way to do it. If you're going from Disney property or you're going from MCO to take that Disney Cruise Line transportation, you don't have to worry about, getting your bags there and all that kind of stuff. It's just a really easy process. And you get that the benefit of an earlier port arrival time as well. So let's talk about embarkation day. You're at Wilderness Lodge. What time did you guys leave for the port? Like what time did your bus leave for the port?
Well, so I guess that's kind of hard to tell because there were several stops. It made a couple of other stops.
Gotcha.
What time did it pick you up at Wilderness?
Like 9, I think. Yeah, I think it was around 9 that we started our pickup rotation.
Gotcha. So you went to a few other resorts and then head to Port Canaveral. About what time did you get to Port Canaveral then, do you think?
10:30?
Yeah, I think so.
About 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I mean, that's still pretty quick because it's about an hour drive. It's usually not that time of day, not usually any traffic to get to Port Canaveral. So I think a lot of people say, oh, it's an hour and 15 minutes. It's not. It's really more like an hour. It's really pretty close. And so that's not a bad, even just a half hour of picking up other folks at other resorts is pretty quick. So tell us when you get to the port, Sarah, how does the check-in process work for you guys? Any bumps in the road? You're at Port Canaveral, so should be like a pretty well-oiled machine. Although you were not in Disney's main terminal. I think you were in Terminal 10 instead of Terminal 8. So you don't get the Mickey ears to walk through, unfortunately.
I think that was so. What I'm finding out, just kind of from the Facebook group from our cruise. That was a lot of the feedback was from that embarkation day that the check-in process, like the security and that process with showing our documentation, that was fine. I think where we kind of had an issue was it was very small and there were no seats for us to sit down, but they wanted us to move to make room for people. But it's like, we don't have anywhere to go. So what do you want us to do? And so we were like huddled in a corner with our, stuff just by the vending machine, just waiting. I mean, and granted, we were grateful that because of the transportation, we were in group 4, which was fantastic. But we still kind of experienced that it was very crowded. And
I don't know where the breakdown was, if they just don't have enough spacing in between the times that they have their groupings come in? Or are people that are driving to the port are they letting them in before their time? Because it just seemed like there were way too many people in there to accommodate it.
Yeah. I think it's probably all of those things. My guess is it's just that space is probably not like the Terminal 8 is pretty nice and pretty big. And even there's maybe not enough seats if everyone's in the port at once, although there's plenty of room, even, standing room, I would say, over an 8. But you guys are in 10, which I think is not as new and not quite as nice as Disney's main terminal, because that's their sort of overflow. I'll call it an overflow terminal when they have 2 ships sailing out of Port Canaveral. And so, yeah, I bet it's a couple different things. They're not giving enough different categories of port arrival time. So they're putting too many people in to each sort of category of time. And then also they might be letting folks in before their port arrival time as well. That's a bummer because it's not, embarkation day is a little bit chaotic. And that's probably putting it nicely. And so when that's your sort of first experience, that's a bit of a bummer. So about how long was it that you were waiting in the terminal till you got on, or do you know approximately what time you got on board the Wish?
It wasn't long. I feel like it was maybe like around 45 minutes. I don't think it was.
It was probably just after 11 when we got in, because we went straight in and had lunch.
Oh, perfect. Now, tell us, this is your first time walking onto a Disney ship. Your family name is announced as you enter the Grand Hall. Obviously, she's very grand. Both the Wish and the Treasure have that Grand Hall. I think it's a superior experience in just aesthetically, because it's very large and open as compared to the original 4 ships. What was your first impression of that welcome and of that space?
I think it was really cool.
It was neat. I didn't tell them. I knew what was going to happen, that they were going to say our name, and I didn't tell them that. And so I think when they said our name, my daughter was just kind of like, we're here. Like, they know we came. And so it was pretty great. Like, it was pretty magical.
Yeah.
Nice.
John, what did you think of the size of the ship when you were driving up to port? Of course, you're on the bus, but like, did you get a look at the ship and obviously the other ships? Because there's always other ships in port at the same time.
Yeah, and I took a picture. At one point in time, there were 4 of them lined up, and the Wish was bigger than all of them. I mean, it's a massive ship.
Yeah. Did that quell when you see the ship and then you get on board and you're in this grand hall, did that start to quell your fears of, or reluctance about, would there be enough to do and see, and that you're sort of confined to this ship instead of having
you got on there and you could start searching all the activities and stuff where, on the cruise line app where you start exploring, there's just so many things to do. Like, we didn't do all of the things because we either had 2 things occurring at once or got tired and needed to sleep. So
yeah,
we tried to watch, a full length movie that started at 10:45.
It was like 10:45.
Oh God! Oh yeah.
What are we doing?
I know
it's not happening. So.
Yeah, it's not happening.
We watched full length movies starting at 10:45, just in the bed in our stateroom on the TV.
And we fall asleep watching them, or we turn them off 15 minutes.
And then our son comes in at midnight. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Our 11-year-old comes in at midnight from Edge. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I where did you guys decide to go to lunch on the first day? Because this is always like there's always the debate: do we go to sit down lunch? Do we go to Marceline Market or Cabanas on the other ships? Did you?
Absolutely did a sit down.
Okay.
Our goal was, I think that, like, by recommendation and kind of what we've heard was, like, try to do the AquaMouse when you get on board. But unfortunately, we went back, we got sunscreened up, we got dressed, we went up, and it
wasn't open. It was
raining. Yeah. Well, so we opted to go to lunch first because we knew the weather. So we were in Arendelle that first day.
Oh, awesome. And I will say, with the AquaMouse or the Aqueduct, or the Aquadunk, like, sometimes it's open when people board, and sometimes it's not open till later. And so you just don't necessarily know. And of course, weather can always impact that. If there are higher winds, bad weather, more likely that it's going to not be open right when you board. But what did you think of the sit-down lunch in Arendelle? Was it a good start to the cruise?
was very good.
Yeah.
Service was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as I think lunch, you could tell is a little bit more, I don't know if chaotic is the right word, but definitely when the dinner started, you could definitely tell that is like a well-oiled machine. Like we just commented on how like they are bringing things out at record time and just the sheer volume. And I'm like, and this is happening every night in 3 different dining rooms. So it was very impressive.
It is. It is. Well, speaking of that, would love to hear your impressions of the dining experience overall on board. Obviously, Disney is unique to other cruise lines in that it does have rotational dining. There is a buffet, but the buffet is only breakfast and lunch. A lot of other cruise lines have a buffet that's open for dinner. They of course don't. Nobody else has rotational dining, but they do have a lot of like other cruise lines have a lot of like specialty dining options that Disney doesn't really have. But I'm curious what you thought of, the concept of rotational dining. Did you enjoy it? And did you enjoy the food and the theming in the different restaurants on board the Wish?
Can I share Anna's feedback real quick? So our daughter got a little shy and didn't want to be on, but she wanted me to make sure I told you both that her feedback about dining was she loved the cleanliness. She loved the fact that you were given a sanitary wipe or made to wash your hands. That was like her favorite. She's like, I can respect this. So she really appreciated that. And she wanted me to she just loved that our head server, like it was just such the attention to detail that you come to expect from like Disney that, I mean, we know and like appreciate from the parks, but just on a whole nother level. And so she just really appreciated that they acknowledged her by name. They treated her like she was like, didn't look to us for her to order or anything. Like she was in charge of everything. And great challenges. Like he would have a challenge for the teenagers at the table each night. And so they'd have like kind of a game that they'd have to do. And she just really enjoyed that. So she wanted me to share her feedback first.
Oh, I love that. Anna, I'm with you. I love that they make you wash your hands or use a sanitizing wipe when you enter into a dining facility. I think every restaurant should do that. I think every place in the world where you eat should do that. Like, it makes me feel more comfortable also. Like, cause I know that they're also like very consistent about like hand washing and cleanliness and all of that. What about you, John? What did you think of the dining experience on board?
I thought it was efficient. I think it could have pros and cons. Like it was good that once you figure out how to find your table number, and then you're going to the same table number every meal. That's kind of good. The con would be like, luckily we had some really good table mates, people sitting next to us that were fun, and it was a joy to talk to them and hang out with them. But I could see where if you drew the short straw and got a boring group of people
like Dud family,
it probably, or like there were some families that we were sitting close to us, and it was a little problematic. You kind of wish you could not have to sit by in their general area every meal.
Yeah.
The people directly at the table with us were a delight.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, was it another family with a kid of a similar age to Anna, or what was the matchup that you guys ended up with?
One older and one younger.
Yeah,
she was there was a 16 and a 14-year-old, and our daughter's 15.
Yeah. It ended up being perfect. They were a family that live in Ohio. And we just started talking the first night in 1923. And, every night we showed up and talked about our day and everything we had done. And it was really nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And I have to say, like, we have made so many friends through cruising, and especially if you find another family that like has, a similar love for Disney, and not to say that everyone who's on Disney Cruise Line as a passenger is that hardcore either into parks or Disney, but they tend to be. And so you're likely to have at least something in common with your table mates. And if they do a good job matching, or if it just randomly ends up being a good match, it's really, really quite lovely. And we sail with people all the time now that we have met through cruising or through the podcast. And so that's always a really fun experience.
I feel like we need to start the pineapple symbolism, but for Disney. Like, can we like just wear a little Mickey somewhere, and then we'll know when you're out cruising or just out and about, like if you have a little Mickey on, we can talk a little Disney Cruise Line.
Right.
There you go.
I like it. I mean, listen, Brian, we constantly wear Disney Cruise Line apparel. I mean, I'm wearing a Lookout Key shirt right now, right? Like
I try to wear a little less of it these days at work, but yeah, I don't want to always be the Disney guy, but yeah. But I think we were told when we sailed on Virgin, like, you can strike up a conversation at any bar by talking about Disney Cruise Line because like half the people on Virgin Voyages were former Disney cruisers. So, yeah.
Yes, and a lot of the crew as well. Yeah. Well, let's jump to some of these activities that you guys got up to on board. It sounds like you were a bit worried that you might have FOMO, and so you hit up as many things as possible. I can't believe you tried to see a movie at 10:45 p.m. I would not do that because I would be falling asleep in the movie, but more power to you for trying.
I just want to say, what I love is it went from not enough to do to too much.
Too much.
I need a break. I love it. Yeah.
When we did start to fall asleep, Anna was like, guys, we can go. So we're like both over here like snoozing, and she's like,
we can go back.
Good.
What were some of the favorite? Obviously, you tried to hit a whole bunch of activities, and so we aren't going to be able to talk about every single activity you guys probably did on board. But what were some of the favorite things that you were like, oh, I wish we could have done more of, or we'll definitely do that again kind of activities?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we saw every one that we could, but the live action shows, like the Broadway caliber stuff, that was amazing.
Yeah. It was
like pyrotechnics on a boat. I thought that was a little risky, but they did it.
The Pirate Parlay deck party on board that they introduced for the Wish and the Treasure, I just feel like it's like the perfect party for, like, I don't know, us as adults and for the kids, because the music is amazing, and then the visuals and the fireworks. I mean, I love fireworks too, but the
even in the Aladdin show, they had them indoors.
Yeah.
Yes, the pyrotechnics in the yeah, absolutely, with the genie appearing and disappearing, and they do a really wonderful job with special effects. I mean, Disney is just known for, obviously wonderful storytelling and theater and visuals and all of that. And they do a really good job of transferring that onto a ship. And it's kind of amazing when you think about like the limited space they have both on the stage and sort of in their backstage areas, but all that they're able to accomplish on those stages is pretty incredible. Now, I want to talk a little bit about those port activities that you guys did do, because you mentioned you booked the excursion for Blue Lagoon at Nassau. We ourselves have never been to Blue Lagoon. We've heard good things. We've heard, as far as the places to go, that's probably that, and I think Pearl Island are the two that we get, I think, recommended the most.
Royal Caribbean's private thing is going to be a destination, I think.
That is too.
Yeah.
But right now that's only going to be limited to Royal Caribbean. And so for folks going to Nassau, I think the two places we get told, I mean, Atlantis is still very popular as well, but I think a lot of people really like Blue Lagoon and Pearl Island more. Tell us what you thought of Blue Lagoon.
I thought it was pretty. I don't know if it's a tide issue. The water was a lot shallower than I would have preferred, because I'm vertically challenged and I still was in no danger of drowning. So
yeah. And I think like we, as being our first day there, I should say, we were like, oh, this is nice. The water's so pretty. And then we got to Castaway Cay. We were like, oh, what were we thinking? Like this is, this is obviously better. But I think our only, it was nice and we really enjoyed it. I think our only feedback for like just getting there was just the queue up line, and kind of there's probably a better way they could have done that. But once we got on the boat and got out there, it was really nice. I mean, there were several open chairs. We didn't really have trouble finding a chair to like get our stuff. I think we were all pleasantly surprised with the food. They had a lot of options. They had barbecue chicken and rice, and like we were trying to go a little bit on the healthier side. And
the food was really good.
Yeah.
The staff was all good.
Yeah. It was a really nice experience. We were kind of like, oh, is it already time? Because we were really enjoying ourselves. So, and that was just kind of a beach day that we just pretty much were on the beach, just kind of in the water, having fun, had lunch together, and it was really nice.
They take you back at the end of it. They take you back
a
kind of a different route, and it's kind of touristy. And That way they can make sure you go through the port.
Right, through the shopping area and the market and the port. Yeah.
Exactly.
3 good ride-ins and a gift shop. Yep.
They also kind of showed us the celebrities' houses and stuff. So that was kind of cool.
That was
Oh,
neat.
that is cool. Yeah.
And they talked a little bit about the history because it was, we sailed on the 4th of July and they were talking about the Bahamian independence. And so like kind of giving that little history too. So it was just kind of a nice ride back of just to kind of experience a little bit more of their culture and kind of their environment. So it's nice.
We were quite surprised to not hear any Caribbean type of music. It was all like
That was
80s and early
American
90s,
music. Yeah.
like Bon Jovi. And
they had a karaoke contest on the way back to some 80s rock, and we had a ball. So it was fun. And Annie Gillen, our daughter, was just like,
Well, I mean, the American influence in the Bahamas is obviously huge, right? Like it's mostly, they're mostly American tourists. Of course, there are European tourists in the Bahamas as well, but much of the Caribbean and the Bahamas are, filled by American tourists. And so the influx of that, sort of cultural melting pot is really
they
prevalent.
were belting it out too.
Oh, yeah. It was so fun. We loved it. It was so great.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
I'd say if you want the cultural experience of the Bahamas, then next time you go, Lookout Key, because they have that cultural stuff kind of built in, and they do have the music. They had some musicians who they pulled together they have their own song. They have their own theme song on the island that's done by some Caribbean musicians, and then they had them take Disney favorites and reprise them into Caribbean music. Yeah.
It's really nice. Well, I want to jump over to Castaway Cay because, of course, like that
because it is but a hop, skip, and a jump from Nassau, so you can jump right over there. Yeah,
exactly. It's also there in the Bahamas, and it's I think of a lot of people will book their first Disney cruise and will choose an itinerary with Castaway specifically in mind. Like they want their first, Disney cruise to include a stop at Castaway Cay. I think now we've got more of a mix because Lookout exists in addition to Castaway, but Castaway is the original private island. I mean, Castaway was before any of the other cruise lines had their own private island experience or private island destination, I should say.
First there was drug running, and then there was Disney. Yes. And Splash. Splash was somewhere in there too.
Right.
So funny you mentioned that. So Anna loves a good countdown. So I always do a countdown for her. And this time I printed 30 ships, and they each had like a fun fact, either about the cruise line or Castaway Cay, or, the fact that, so that was one of them. I like, it wasn't drug smuggling airstrip. And then it was so that, I just, So
then they filmed Daryl Hannah. Yeah.
So we had fun each day learning things about the ship or Castaway. So it was nice. But yeah.
Oh, that's a great way. That's a great way to get a kid, particularly a teen, like excited about a Disney vacation in particular, with just different fun and unique facts. And there's a lot of really fun and unique history facts about Castaway and about Disney Cruise Line in particular. So I love that. Well, what did you guys think of Castaway? You mentioned you did the floaty bicycle and snorkel package, so you had those things available to you to use for however long or short you wanted to on the island. But what did you guys think about the whole Castaway experience?
I thought it was cool. There was a lot of good stuff. The snorkeling lagoon they had a lot of neat things kind of thrown in there, and there were a lot of like little areas for fish to kind of mingle in that weren't marked with buoys. So there was stuff to discover on your own on top of the things they had marked with buoys. So it was pretty cool. And then, I mean, there were things that I wanted to do that we didn't get to do. So I just ran out of time, but it was fun.
I said, let's board the boat at 4:29 and 58 seconds because we literally wanted to stay the whole time. We were just trying to make the most of it. And I mean, just as a family, like our daughter, she's like so many family firsts that we experienced that day. Like she had never been snorkeling, and to have that experience in the Disney way, she was yelling at me through that snorkel, pointing at that, and she's like, "We remember that time we got to touch Dumbo's hat underwater, and here he is at the park," and so it was just, I think, created so many memories of, and even though the bicycle trail, like we were kind of expecting something a little bit different, but that was one of her favorite things. She had a ball just riding a bicycle out in the Bahamas. Like she loved it.
You had to write a pretty good clip just to get to a scenic view. I was like, we're out in the Caribbean. Like, why isn't the scenic?
Yeah. It was like we have these like trails.
You're in the middle of bushes. Like there's like it's the bike trail and also running trail, whatever you want to call it, is really for the most part, not the whole thing. You're either on the airstrip or you're on a trail that has bushes on either side. And so there's really not much of a view unless you go all the way to the end. There's kind of a beach view at the very end. Yeah, I go out and run. I don't do I'm not a great cyclist, so I do it on foot. But it's only if I have to get a long run in that I go all the way to that end, past Serenity Bay, basically. And that, you can get a nice view over there. Or if you decide to climb up the tower, then you can get, a view from that tower that's kind of in the middle of the loop.
I think we intended to do that, but didn't get around to that either.
That was on the list.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the list. You can't do everything, as you mentioned. Did you end up using the tubes that you had rented also? Do you have time to do that?
Yeah, we did. That was nice. We just kind of connected as a family, and we just floated for a while until it was like, I'm getting too hot. I have to. Sorry, he's got a work call. Sorry, it happens.
Okay, it's all right.
So we did use our rafts. It was really fun to just be out there together as a family until he was like, I'm absolutely too hot. I have to go in. but Anna and I had such a good time. We could not, the water is so beautiful. Just the whole environment. And again, we were pleasantly surprised by the food. Like we thought it was good. And I think for Anna, it was a nice surprise because our head server had told us what he would be doing that day on Castaway. And so for her to find him and it was like, there he is. And then he brought her a special plate of fries, of course. And, Anna Gale's got to have fries, so it was really nice to just have that connection and just kind of made her feel even more special because she was like, oh, he's here. And so
he went out of his way to get her. Yeah, that's so lovely.
We had it was one of our best days we've ever. It was great. We really liked it. So
I love that. I love when they make the kids feel like very special and appreciated as individuals. I even love when they make sure to tell the kids, particularly, older kids, like, you can order off the regular menu, you can order off the kids menu, you do whatever you want. You can order 2 off the kids menu if it's too small of a portion, or but like, why don't you try something off of each menu, right? Like, I feel like if you get a good service team, which that doesn't always happen, but if you get a good serving team, like, they do sort of just go above and beyond to make the kids feel welcome, to make the kids feel that sort of sense of independence. I think, like you had mentioned, and they don't turn to the parents for you to order. For little kids, they turn to the parents for you to order, but for tweens and teens, they really address the teen and tween and ask them, what would you like for dinner tonight? With us, it's funny because Nathan will just say, Mickey's mac and cheese every single night, and won't it's very, very rare occasion that he will change his dinner order. But it's just, I think it's lovely when they really just, sort of make that effort.
And I think, like you said, like for the little kids, obviously, like there is like almost like a catering to that, as it should be. It's Disney, but also from Anna's perspective, like she's obviously been raised, through Disney. Her first time at Disney World was when she was 4 years old. So I think that for her as a teenager to experience that magic too, and to just experience all of that, it was really special for her. So she really loved it.
I love that. What were some of Anna's favorite activities, jumping back onto the ship? What were some of her favorite activities to do? And with you, or with, I don't know if she ended up ditching you guys at all. I know you said she didn't want to go to the teen club. So she didn't really want to check out Vibes. She's probably a little bit shy about it. Did she, I'm curious, you mentioned the table mates, so there was a 14 and a 16-year-old. Did she end up hanging out with them at all? Or no, she just hung out with you guys?
She just stayed with us the whole time, yeah.
Okay.
I think that had her friend been there, it probably would have been a totally different cruise experience for her and for us. But I think the fact that she was just felt kind of a little shy about things, she felt a little more comfortable with us. I think she was even a little shocked because we got on the elevator and there was a younger kid that was probably about 10 or 11. I think like how you talk about your son, about he just navigates the ship by himself and does everything. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to the kids club. And she was like,
yeah, he's like, peace, I'll see you later.
He's going by himself. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the cruise culture here with the Disney that they did. She's like, oh, okay, and she was worried, and I'm like, he's okay, but no,
that's so
yeah. So, but she loved, like, as soon as we saw the Little Mermaid the first night, she's like, we're coming back tomorrow. So just know our shower order so we can be prepared, and we have to get gelato. So she told her brother today when she got home, she's like, just so you know, this is my Bing Bong Sunday dish that I got, and we got gelato every night. So the schedule was excursion, showers, gelato, show, and we had to hurry up and get everything, get gelato every night. So that was one of her favorite things, was definitely the shows on the ship. She really enjoyed it. And then I think just each night kind of not knowing what to expect with dinner, I think was really special for her. She really enjoyed 1923, I think was her favorite. But she also enjoyed Marvel and Arendelle as well. So I think it was really neat.
Awesome. I love that. Now, did you guys enjoy we didn't talk much about the dinner shows. Obviously, we talk a lot about them on the show. Arendelle is a little loud, a little bit crowded. I like the menu for the most part. It's not my favorite menu, but I always find something that I'm happy with on the menu. I pretty much find something I'm happy with in every menu. Except for 1923 second night menu. You wouldn't have had that menu. You had first night menu. There's really, honestly, I think that's like the only menu across the fleet where I just cannot find like anything I like on it. But I'm curious what you guys thought of the show experience in the restaurants. Because that, like, some people are like, it's too much. Some people are like, it's too little. Some people are like, it's fine, but I could do with it without it, right? Like 1923, there's no show, but you've got all this fun artwork and stuff to look at. But the other two are, more interactive, let's say.
I thought the Marvel show was pretty cool how they, integrated the stuff on the screens. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but the special visitor, that was kind of cool. But I think for us, it comes back to the staff. But in the Arendelle show, I mean, that got crazy. We had servers out there doing the worm, and like there was like a dance off between servers. Yeah. Like it wasn't even, I don't even think that's part of
I don't know. It was
Arendelle show,
no.
But
that is not part. I will tell you definitively, we have been in Arendelle multiple times. That is not part of the show. I have never seen a server do the worm in Arendelle.
So did they, the times you've been there, did they have like a conga line thing going?
I have never seen a conga line in Arendelle either.
A great experience. So
yeah.
The guy that's like, yoo-hoo, something blow out, whatever.
Yes,
yes.
That is part of the show. Yeah. Yes.
But what I'm saying is he got everyone kind of dancing and circling through, and then that just morphed into the staff dancing.
And it was like everybody had their napkins up, like you were in a hockey game. It was so great. I mean, I took the best video of Anna because she is just smiling and just so into it. And she was so mad that we were coming back to the table and she thought we were getting in the conga line, but I went to go sit down and she wanted to go. But it was really neat. The only thing I would say is like, I'm just being adults and having an older child, like we were really close to the stage. So just because of our table number, like I would have, I don't know if it was strategic that maybe they would have had a family with a younger child. Like it was fine that we were close to the stage and it was loud. Yeah, it was good. I liked the menu. I thought I had trouble deciding on something, and so did Anna. But thankfully, our head server, he brought her two things for her to choose from. So yeah, it was really great. Yeah.
I wonder if they sometimes, depending upon who the performers are, if they sort of can tweak things a little bit, because it has been a little bit since we've been on the Wish, to be completely honest. We haven't been on the Wish since the Treasure came out. And so that's already we're recording this in July. The treasure came out in December. So it's been 9 months or something since we've been on the Wish. So having different performers, and I wouldn't be surprised if they tweak the show. So like the conga line may be a more regular thing now, but it wasn't when the Wish was opened in 2022, in July of 2022, when the Wish opened, and the couple of years that we were on her a bunch after that. That was not a thing. So, but that's really fun. One thing we haven't talked about is your stateroom. You had not been, well, Sarah, you had been on a cruise once, but almost 30 years ago, you mentioned, because this is your 50th birthday, right? So, and your family had never been on, in a cruise. How did you go about choosing your stateroom?
So I think just, I also have vertigo. And so we were a little worried kind of how we would all do, just not sure how we would feel. And so I think when we were looking at a stateroom, we was like, we're going for a veranda room, because we thought just having the window wouldn't be enough. And so the veranda room was like our choice, and it was phenomenal because we were actually on the starboard side. So the fireworks, I mean, we haven't got to that, but I mean, we went up to the deck party and asked Anna if she wanted to stay. And she was like, it's a little too people-y for me. So we went back to our room, and I mean, talk about a magical experience just as a family, watching those fireworks coming over off our veranda. Not to mention, she now wants Mickey waffles served to her on the veranda, on the ocean. So, because we went to Marceline for breakfast, but we would bring her Mickey waffles back. And so she is, living her best life.
She is a cruising princess now. She gets Mickey waffles on a veranda. I mean, that's awesome. I love that. I'm a little jealous. Nobody brings me Mickey waffles on my veranda.
So, but yeah, we went with the veranda room, and it was beautiful. I mean, I thought it was really nice. Yeah.
A lot of amenities. It was very nice.
And I think, like, you guys have talked about the split bathroom. Brilliant.
I think the actual toilet section for me was a little smaller than I would like. Again, being vertically challenged, like if my knee's touching the wall, I feel like it's, it could have been a little bigger, but it was very nice.
Yeah.
Modern.
Yeah. We really thought it was, yeah. And that was one thing Anna loved, that she, with our stateroom host, she just every day looked forward to coming back and what he was going to have prepared for her. And she loved, because when we would see him in the hallway, address us by name, ask where we were going, ask us how our day was. Like, that was just one of her key takeaways, that she just loved so much, that it was just really personal for her. So
I love that too. Sometimes it happens that on like the first day, you somehow like miss your stateroom attendant, and then you don't meet them till the second day. And like that, I feel like that first time you meet your stateroom attendant, and they, they learn your name, you learn their name, and then they sort of learn your habits. Even in a 3-day cruise, like even a 3-night cruise, they can learn your habits of like, oh, what time do these people tend to like get up and get going for the day? And what time do they tend to come back at night, and things like that. It's really cool. Like, they're really, I feel like they're kind of wizards in a way, because they just figure out like, and they like anticipate your needs without you even asking a lot of the time. And like, figure out like they're like MacGyver in figuring out like when they should make up the room, right? And when they should do the turn down service and all of that. I'm always just like really amazed by that.
Oh, sorry. I think we were just surprised, because when he came to the door, he just kind of said hello and introduced himself and was like, "Where's John? Where's Anna?" And I was like, "Oh, they're here." But he actually wanted to meet them. Yeah. And I think that was,
He didn't just knock on the door and like, "Hey, you need anything?" He's like, "Hey, I'm John. Yeah. Here's Mr. John."
Yeah. It was really nice.
I think it's amazing. I love when they ask me like, oh, like if I'm usually the one getting up and going to get us coffee in the morning, for example. And, so if I see my stateroom attendant in the hallway, they're, "Good morning, Sam or Samantha." And then, "What are you up to today?" "Oh, I'm just going to get coffee. Brian and Nathan are still in bed." And, oh, have wonderful, like they just are so friendly and so inquisitive. And then, of course, I always tell people, like, if you have time, if you're not rushing to get to something, like, take a moment and stop and talk to that person and find out something about them and their life, because they have such unique and interesting stories of their own. I mean, most of these people are, of course, from parts of the Caribbean or parts of Asia, and they are working to send money home to their families, and they may have a spouse and children or grandchildren back at home. And it's just like lovely when you get to know these folks on a personal level and you can make that connection. And I will say, when you make that connection, you also get better service usually. So it's a little, you can do it for altruistic reasons, but also a little bit of you might get, a little karma works there too.
So we were on Castaway Cay and we were eating, and I guess we grabbed different, and I don't even think that was out there for everyone. So like our server, he recognized us because I think he was doing staff meals or something.
Yeah.
And so we go and sit down, and he runs over with 2 plates smashed together. He's like, "Hey, I got something for you." And he gave our daughter a plate of French fries.
Yeah.
Which wasn't even something that was on the menu.
Yes, which they don't have on Castaway Cay, which means it came from the ship. And so it's a really, these are like those, and Sarah was telling us about that. It's like, these are these special moments where they make you realize like you are individually special to them, or you made an impact on their day and they want to make an impact on your day. And it's a really just lovely, lovely moment. Yeah.
You talking about the Captain Jack Sparrow?
No. What happened with Captain Jack Sparrow?
So our server again was amazing.
Oh yeah.
So like she was a little creeped out at first, like, what is he doing? So like he took napkins and wrapped them on her head to make it look like a bandana and like dreads, and made her look like
Captain Jack
Sparrow.
It was so great.
With several napkins.
Yeah, clean napkin. No, I'll have to send that as one of the pictures, because the delight on her face that she, that he was doing this was just so amazing and so funny that she loved it. It was great. Yeah.
I love that. Now, is there anything that we've missed that either, memorable, or maybe it was something that went well or something that went poorly? I mean, we leave room for improvement. There's always, not everything is always perfect. Yeah, opportunities. But is there anything that, before we subject you to, some rapid fire questions, is there anything that we've missed that we haven't talked about that was, particularly memorable or maybe unexpected?
We've covered pretty much everything.
I think we covered a lot. I just think that Castaway was just above our expectations. We just had a lovely day there. It was so fun as a family. And then so I think I would described it as experiencing the Disney magic in a different way, if that, and I think it was.
So just to kind of put it into perspective, you look at the flyers and stuff, the pictures on the internet for Blue Lagoon, and it's like, oh, that looks amazing. Then you get there and you're like, it's pretty, but it's not. And then you go to Castaway Cay, and it's like, this looks even better than how they portrayed it.
Yeah.
Like it was very beautiful and a lot of fun.
I think you asked what was something we didn't get up to. So I think that Anna had said that she would like to do like some of the family games and things. And like that was something that just kind of got lost in the shuffle, that we didn't really get to participate in that just because we were from excursion to, show and dinner. And then we tried to watch a movie, which was, so I mean, I think maybe.
Yeah, you didn't have a sea day at all, right? Because if you're on a 3-night cruise and you decide to get off at Nassau, you don't have any, there's a lot of people who decide on a 3-night cruise to stay on the ship at Nassau because you don't have a sea day in the mix. And so really your only sea day is is embarkation day, which isn't a full day. And it's also kind of, as I mentioned, chaotic, and you're, dealing with learning where everything is. So you don't really have a ton of time to do a bunch of different activities. Although of course you get to do like the deck, the sail away party. But
it's hard in general on those Wish class ships, especially. No sea day, 3 days or less. It's just, it's a lot. I mean, the 7-night sailing on the Treasure, it's a lot. And there's still stuff. we did an 11 night to the Southern Caribbean, and there was
On the
still stuff we didn't get to do that we wanted to do. Yeah. So
Yeah, because if you more days just also means more stuff to do.
Right. Well, and we compare it to like the parks and thinking like how many times we've been going, like we've been married almost 25 years now, and there are still things in the parks that we haven't done that have been there the whole time we've been going. So I think like
probably 7 years in a row and keep forgetting to ride the train. And then when they were building Tron, it was down for years. So
we finally got to ride it. And then when our son, who is a train enthusiast, they were giving the instructions and he shushed us because he's like, I've been waiting a really long time to ride this train. So he shushed us, even to like just keep your hands and legs in. Like it was just, it was an experience for us. So
I got asked a question before we moved to rapid fire. So John, would you go back? Would you go back on another cruise at this point?
We actually did already put a placeholder on one. But
okay, all right, the placeholder. I thought you said you already sailed again. I was
no, they just got home today, Brian. They just got home. That's right, from the park.
Disclosure. I mean, to me, it was fun. I'm not going to say it wasn't fun. Nassau, I could never go there again and be fine with that.
Yeah.
For me, it was more about how much they enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, and if Sarah's told you anything about the podcast, I would tell you that our advice to people is not to get off in Nassau. Our advice is to use, especially on a shorter cruise. Like, I'm not saying that never get off at Nassau. I'm like, there are people who love certain things at Nassau, but on a shorter cruise, you don't have a lot of time. And so I would choose to spend my time on the ship and not venture off at all at Nassau on one of those shorter sailings.
We're kind of paranoid anyway about traveling out of the country and safety issues. So I just, unless it's something very public and I could skip it.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we went with the private Blue Lagoon thing,
Yeah. I'd say any just Disney excursion that you take, you can expect that they have well vetted those providers. And if those providers rack up any kind of complaint, Disney's going to find a different provider, right?
So, which is why we didn't want to just go to a public beach or just strolling down the streets and exploring. We stuck with the recommended by Disney.
Yeah. And we've had, and I know this was just kind of like his feedback of just like watching my daughter and I enjoy ourselves. Like, obviously we talked about earlier, this has been a really hard year for us. And so to be able to know that like my birthday present last year was the deposit on this cruise. And then not knowing that in September I would be diagnosed with cancer, and then to be able to be recovered and be able to be strong enough to travel and ride a bike on that all the way out to that trail and snorkel like we did and just have an amazing trip. Like it was truly magical for us. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I can't think of any better way to celebrate like beating cancer than going on a Disney cruise. Like it's a pretty great way to celebrate. Of course any Disney trip would be a great way to, whatever your preferred Disney trip is a great way to celebrate. But like, that's the win, right? Like that's the win that you're celebrating. And so to be able to have a wonderful vacation and to not think about that and to really immerse yourselves in Disney storytelling, I think that's what you want. And, you can do that on a ship with everything pretty much included, instead of doing a parks vacation. I personally think it's a little bit.
I think we got to get you on a longer sailing.
Yeah, we got to get you on a longer sailing.
We got to get you to like an adult dining opportunity.
Yeah.
A Palo brunch, a dinner, an entree.
You got to do a duo dip so you can get to Lookout Key. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Honestly, I love the treasure for you because I also want to get you into the rainforest room where you can just relax.
Plus, I think John needs to go on the treasure because he's, as a parks guy, like the treasure has all the parks theming. And so I feel like your next ship has got to be the treasure. I'm not that the classic ships are fantastic, all four. I'm not just talking Magic and Wonder, Dream and Fantasy are amazing also, but I feel like for the parks fan, treasure it can't be beat.
I don't know if you're an old-fashioned guy, John, but if you didn't stop by Hook's Barbery one night and grab one on the Wish, it's definitely a must-do on the Treasure, in my opinion. I find the whole Hook's Barbery experience to just be great because it doesn't feel like you're in a spa. It just feels like you're in a barbershop. So yeah, that was really fantastic.
Yeah,
too.
that
But
was something that was on my list, but it was actually booked. You have to make an appointment. It was completely booked when we looked at it to try to book it. They didn't have any openings.
Well, so they do have the tastings, but you actually can go in.
There's a window between it's like 4 or 5 until just before dinner where they just have the bar open and you can just go order an old fashioned.
Right.
I thought I was talking about getting a haircut.
You wanted
you want to get
yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
those
a straight razor shave on a ship might be a little dangerous. But
They don't use a straight razor.
They don't use a straight razor.
They don't use a straight razor. They use a safety razor. Yeah.
Brian does.
And I actually don't even have them use that. I just have them use an electric trimmer to kind of get things down. And then it's just all
it's just a facial treatment.
It's just product everywhere. Yeah.
You just ruined the magic for me. I was really
Brian loves it.
A straight razor shave.
No, Brian loves the experience. I have several pictures of him with his face wrapped in the towel, and you can't see anything but like his nose. It's
hot towels, cold towels. I love it all. All right, Stan, we have reached that point in the show where it's time to subject our guests to your arbitrary questions, your arbitrary rules, and your judgment, or the round we know as rapid fire. So, Sam, take it away.
Okay, Sarah knew this was coming. John, I don't know if you knew this was coming, but I'm going to ask you some Disney favorites.
He may go back on a cruise again. He's never coming back on the show.
He's never coming back on the show.
There you go.
I'm going to ask you some Disney favorites, and then I'm going to ask you some Disney Cruise Line favorites. I'm going to ask each of you. Your answers do not have to match. These are your personal favorites. So when I direct a question to you, John, you give me your personal favorite, and then I'll do the same with Sarah. You'll get the same questions, but it's very much okay if your answers do not match. This is known for being the area where I get a little bit judgmental over people's answers, so that's just a warning. But I'm going to already tell you guys have already won because you beat cancer, Sarah. So you can't get any. You can't. Even if you get a question wrong, I'm going to let you pass.
Guest, you cannot intimidate, Sam.
Right,
there you
exactly. We're going to start. I'm going to start by setting aside your favorite ship question because the answer right now, your favorite ship is the Disney Wish. So there you go. There you have it. I know it's soon to be the Disney Treasure, but we're going to start with who's your favorite Disney character. And when I say Disney, I mean basically everything and anything in the universe because Disney owns like all the IP in the world right now, pretty much. So you don't have to choose a classic Disney character. You can choose, Star Wars, Marvel, whatever. But I got to ask each one of you, who is your favorite Disney character? Sarah, we'll start with you.
I have to go with Ariel, followed closely by my book nerd Belle. So
love it. Both great answers, great princesses. All right, John, who's your favorite Disney character?
I probably would have originally went with Darth Vader from Star Wars, but having a grandson now, he's like taking some kind of affinity to Donald Duck for some reason. I don't really know why, but he loves Donald Duck.
So now you love Donald. Oh, I love that.
I can't not because
Yeah, you have a grandchild. You can't not love what your grandchild loves. All right, love that. Okay, the next question is your favorite Disney movie. John, we're gonna start with you for this question. Same rule applies. Disney means everything.
Return of the Jedi.
All right, great answer. All right, Sarah, what's your favorite Disney movie?
So we play a lot of family games, and this is always a tough one for me. So we always do like top 3 favorite movies. I'm gonna go with Inside Out.
Love that.
We love that one. Yeah.
So good. And so, such great social emotional lessons in that movie. All of that. Love it. All right. Favorite Disney song, Sarah?
That's tough. Okay. I'm going to go classic on it. And I'm going to say When We're the Best of Friends from Fox and the Hound, because it doesn't matter. I will cry at that no matter what. It is just such a great song. I don't know. I just love it whenever I hear it. So. Yeah.
Awesome. John, what about you? Favorite Disney song?
That's tough. So maybe Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, or I don't even know the name of the song, but the song from Tangled, the Snuggly Duckling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had a dream. I have a dream. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Probably
love
those
that.
two.
Awesome. Awesome. Great answers. Okay, now we're going to move on to Disney Cruise Line. I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite stage show, meaning one of the 3 main stage shows in the Walt Disney Theater on the Disney Wish? You can choose which one is your favorite? John, we'll start with you.
It was Aladdin by far.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah?
I have to stick with my girl Ariel, even though Aladdin was phenomenal. Yeah.
All right. So Little Mermaid. Okay. What was your favorite onboard activity? Let's say other than the shows, because I know you guys loved the stage shows. What was a favorite onboard activity on the Disney Wish? Sarah, we'll start with you.
I think we finally were able to get the AquaMouse in and just riding that with Anna. And we both took a turn with her and just hearing her be like, we're on a water slide on a cruise ship as she's screaming down. And we're just, just her laughter and just to know she was having so much fun. It was great to finally be able to do that. It was really fun. We had a good time.
Oh, I love that. John, what about you? A favorite activity?
I don't know if this qualifies as activity, but even though we didn't go to the parties, but the fireworks, I was just amazed by the fact that.
Yeah, that's an onboard activity. Absolutely. Anything you do watch, experience, right? I call that an activity. It could just, we have people answer sitting on their veranda, drinking a cup of coffee in the morning. To me, that's an activity. I love it. All right. Favorite rotational dining. Now, you can pick this based on any factors that you deem appropriate. So it could be because you like the food the best in this restaurant. It could be because you like the theming the best. You like the show the best. But overall, which one was your favorite rotational dining restaurant, John?
Arendelle, probably by far. Again, just because of just the painstaking decorations that went through, and then the fun. It sounds like that's not a normal thing, but it was a lot of fun with the staff getting into it.
To be fair, it is always fun. It's just maybe not as much interactivity as it was.
With the servers, I wasn't
that's awesome.
That, so.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Sarah, what about you?
I would agree. I think we ended up watching Frozen later, like that night, and just looking at comparing the decorations that they did and everything that, it was just like they thought of everything, kind of like we always say about Disney, but it was just a really fun night. We had a great time.
Awesome. All right, we're going to stick in the food category, and I'm going to ask you a favorite sweet item on board your Disney cruise and a favorite savory item on board your Disney cruise. We start with the sweets because I like savories the best, so I always save what I like the best for last. So, Sarah, we'll start with you. What was your favorite sweet item? And remember, this can be from anywhere on the ship, so this could be from the sweet shop, but this could be from main dining, this could be pool deck, doesn't matter, wherever.
I think I would have to go with, I was going to say the gelato, but we actually had one of the no sugar added desserts the first day at lunch in Arendelle, and it was just really good. Anna was like, are you sure this is no sugar added dessert? But it was really good. It was kind of like a raspberry kind of chocolate bar dessert thing. It was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Awesome. What about you, John? Favorite sweet item?
I thought it was really unique. We got, they have the churro Mickey waffles.
Yes, good answer, John.
It's
like you've been listening to the show.
I hate churros. I'm not really a big fan of the waffles either, but together they work.
I love that. Sarah, you didn't coach him at all for this?
I didn't say anything. No, I had no idea what to expect from him. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Good answer, John. Okay, savory item. What was a favorite savory food item on board your Disney cruise, John?
I'm just going to throw out a range of the fact that all of the salmon options. I'm a really big fan of salmon. I love salmon. And they just had a lot of options. Almost every meal you could have salmon.
Awesome. Love that.
And I pretty much did for
pretty much did, yeah.
An appetizer or whatnot.
Sarah, what about you?
I think for me, because I'm kind of limited on what I can have still. And so just being able to find something on the menu that was within the range that I could. But I really, there was a pork tenderloin. It might have actually been from Arendelle. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. It was really good.
Awesome. Yeah. Love that. All right. My last question, since I already answered your favorite chip question, my last question of rapid fire is a question I ask everybody who does a rapid fire round with me, which is, what is your bucket list cruise? And by that, I mean, if you could go anywhere in the world, but on a Disney Cruise Line ship, and it doesn't even have to be a destination that Disney Cruise Line currently goes. This is a make your own cruise adventure. So as long as it's someplace that's reachable by water, where would you go? Sarah, we'll start with you, your bucket list cruise. And again, you don't have to match. These don't have to be this. They don't have to be the same cruise.
I would ideally just say something that already exists. That is like an Alaskan cruise that I would love to do. But I think it would be fun to visit each of the parks if it was feasible to do that, like just to be able to the itinerary to just visit every park, because that's kind of a bucket list thing to be able to go to one of the other parks. So yeah.
Absolutely. I will be on that bucket list cruise with you, Sarah. That is definitely on the list. I mean, like you said, it doesn't exist, but in our imaginary world, it can exist. All right, John, what about you? Where would you go?
Probably like Italy or Greece.
Yeah. Some great Mediterranean cruises on. Well, those are ones that exist, John. So, I mean, that could be.
No idea.
Yeah, that could be some. I mean, you're allowed to, as I said, you're allowed to pick something that exists. I mean, Sarah gave me Alaska also, and that of course exists.
Does the treasure go to Greece or Italy?
No, unfortunately, right now the treasure is only doing 7-night Caribbean itineraries. It's every other week, so it's Eastern Caribbean, Western Caribbean, Eastern Caribbean, Western Caribbean, repeat ad nauseum for at least the next year. Well, all of 2025, 2026 has been announced through September, and it will continue to do that. We expect that the treasure will be doing that for the next couple of years. So, but I would highly recommend the Eastern Caribbean itinerary is fantastic. It does have 3 port days. It goes the typical itinerary is St. Thomas, Tortola, and Castaway. And then you have 2 sea days. And so 2 full sea days. And I think that's a better use of time than the Western Caribbean has 4 port stops. So you only get 1 sea day. So that's what I would definitely recommend for you guys. Now, you mentioned you have a placeholder. Oh, congratulations. I already told you won. So excellent job on rapid fire. You mentioned you have a placeholder. Are you eyeing anything in particular, or you kind of just got home, so you haven't had probably a chance to really look at the website and
we
think
were already
about
planning at Castaway, let's be honest. So
yeah.
I think he didn't realize there was oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, no, I wasn't looking at anything particular, but
we had talked about like the duo dip, like you talked about, like look out with Castaway, because we really enjoyed that day, like just as in conversation. But
I just feel like if they're going to bully me into going to another one, I should get a discount at least.
Listen, we don't make any money off of this podcast, John. We donate all of the proceeds that we make from this podcast to charity, and neither Brian nor I are travel advisors. And so we can't get a commission on your cruise, but your wife, Sarah, can. So, but I would tell you, so understanding you might want to do a duo dip, which means a cruise that goes to Lookout and Castaway, your best options for that are going to be typically the Fantasy, the Dream, and the Magic. Those are the ships that have those on their itineraries. As I mentioned, unfortunately, the Treasure does not. I think it might have like 1 or 2 that go to Lookout a year, but it's really mostly going to Castaway. And then when the Destiny comes out, it also has several duo dips in its itineraries, and those are out of Fort Lauderdale instead of out of Port Canaveral, which is fine as well. So lots of options out there. Brian and I recommend the Treasure for the ship experience, but if you are really set on doing Lookout and Castaway, there's fabulous options. You're looking probably more at a 4 or 5 night itinerary, though, instead of a 7-night itinerary. So it's really going to matter as to how long you've got in your vacation schedule and what your budget is. But with that, Sarah, we got to tell folks, if they are interested in connecting with you to book a Disney or other vacation, how can people reach out to you?
They can find me on Facebook at sarahbodie.destinationwonderlandtravel, or I'm on Instagram at sarah.wonderlandtravel. And I would say that like one of my motivations obviously I wanted to go on a Disney cruise, but something that impacted me was a potential client asked me what my favorite ship was for the Disney Cruise Line. And I felt pretty inauthentic being a Disney person and not being able to give her an authentic answer. And so now I can speak to at least one ship. So yeah.
Now you got to go try them all so you can have a favorite. Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go. Try them all.
Thank you guys.
Try them all.
Yeah.
Try them all. Well, Sarah, John, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share your fabulous experience with our audience out there. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.